Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I have a question for you. Do you ever feel overwhelmed with a problem that you're faced with, or a project maybe that you're working on, or something that you're trying to finish? I mean, the answer to that is obvious. Yes, we all feel that way. And I wanted to share a little story about a problem that I was facing and something that I kind of noticed recently and how that shifted. So this is going to make me take you a little bit back. My husband and I moved to this city that we live in 2013. And we moved here for his work. I knew absolutely nobody. He had a few secondary contacts. So we were going into this with no support system, no network, really no nothing. But we gradually started to make friends. We lived in an amazing neighborhood. We did get connected with people at work. I met some people through different ways, and we started to build a really great network. But we always had our eye on some acreage, some property. And so 2 years after we moved there, we found a piece of property that worked really well for us, and we bought it and we moved out to it. Now, that piece of property is actually not that far from the city. It's only about 20 minutes away, but it's definitely in a rural area. And I love where we live, but I was a little bit sad at the time because it meant leaving my network, my community. It meant leaving the friends. And I can still see friends all the time. They're not that far, but it meant that we didn't have the amazing neighbors that we had when we were living in town. So one of the things I noticed when we moved out to this community was how of a close knit community it is, which is wonderful. Honestly, this community is amazing. But one of the challenges in it is coming in as an outsider. Have you ever felt that where you're trying to break into something? In this case, it's a community, but it could be anything, a group, a school, whatever, where you're really seen as the outsider. I went for a walk shortly after we moved here. I was just walking out the road, and one of our neighbors, an older man, flagged us down and asked me who was I and where was I living. So I told him my name and where we had moved into. And he said, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're down by the new guys." And I realized, it took me a minute to think that the new guys he meant were the people, the retired couple that had built their house there in 1975. So by his math, like, we're not going to live here for 30 more years. I had another conversation. So this, a couple of years later, I was chatting with one of the parents at our local school, and he's like, "You're not from here. You're pretty new here, aren't you?" I said, "Well, we've been here for a couple of years now." I said, "How long have you lived here?" And he's like, "6 generations." And that really sums up this community. It's made of people who have been here literally for generations and generations. And it's wonderful, but it can be really challenging as an outsider. So when I moved in, one of the things that I really struggled with was isolation and loneliness and just not knowing anybody. And so I had two choices. Choice number one was I could sit back and I could wait for the neighborhood to come to me and get to know me. Or number two is I could kind of put myself out there. So I realized that option number one wasn't actually going to get me anywhere. So I took a bit of a leap, I guess I would say, and went to a parent council meeting. When my kids were little, I joined the parent council when my younger son was in kindergarten. I thought this might be a good way to get to meet people. So I went to the first meeting and I knew nobody. I'm an observer when I first get to meet people. I don't, it takes me a little while to warm up to groups of people in particular, but I love meeting people. I love building community. And I just feel like that's one of the most important things to me, is to build a community around where you live. So I went to this meeting. Lovely. It was fine. Everybody was friendly. Um, came home, went to the second one. I went to the third one. I went to the fourth one. And then COVID hit and everything went virtual, but I kept going. I went to the next virtual meeting. I went to the next virtual meeting. Before COVID, when we could actually go into the school, I volunteered for stuff. So when they needed parent volunteers, I went in to help. I met people that way. And I gradually got more involved. I got to know more people and I got to become friends with these people. And now I really realized this year, after 7 years of really consistently showing up, that I feel like I am a part of the community now. I feel like I have a network. I feel like I have a support system locally. I feel like I'm getting to know the parents and the kids and the families and the connections in the community. Oh yeah, that's so and so's cousin and uncle and all of those connections. And I'm really feeling like I'm starting to belong. And I love that feeling. But I share this with you because what really hit me about this experience was the consistency. Now, we as humans love instant gratification. I do. I'm sure you do. We all do. If you think to yourself, oh man, I really want that pair of boots, you can order them online and they can be at your doorstep the next day. We are used to having that instant thing. And my instant gratification brain wanted me to go to that very first parent council meeting and sit down and have everybody say, oh my God, thank goodness you're here. It's so great to meet you. Why don't you come and get together? We'll have a social event, blah, blah, blah. But that's not reality. Instant gratification is a real drive for humans, but instant doesn't always get you what you want. In fact, it very rarely gets you what you want. Instant gratification hits the superficial levels. It doesn't address the root, and it doesn't build things in a strong, steady, sturdy way. So how does this tie into your health? It ties into your health big time. If sleep is a challenge for you, how many times have you and me, we've all done this, seen a pill that said, you'll sleep tonight instantly. Amazing. That's exactly what I need. Does it work? Maybe, kind of, sort of, for a little while. Usually not really, and definitely not for long, because it addresses the superficial. It doesn't get to the root. Where you will start to see real, meaningful, lasting change is in those consistent behaviors over the long period of time. And that can be really challenging as humans who just want things instantly. But this is something that we absolutely have to learn how to work around and power through. My other question for you is, what is your gut reaction when the instant doesn't work for you? Is it frustration, annoyance, disappointment, anger? All of those are totally normal. I've experienced them all as well. But we need to be aware of what our expectations are. What are we actually looking for, and what are our expectations? If you just want that pair of boots to arrive on your doorstep instantly and they take a couple days, sure, you can be frustrated and annoyed. But if you're looking to really overhaul your sleep, your energy, your weight, your mood, your parenting, your relationships, all of those things, that is not something that one pill is going to fix instantly. So I have two challenges for you. Challenge number one, I want you to pick something that you want to improve, change, address, adjust, and I want you to find something that you can work on consistently. Just like I did when I wanted to build a community, and my action, I could have done it in any number of ways. The action that I chose was to go through to parent council and get to know people that way, and it worked for me. Maybe other people would have gone to a church, or other people would have done volunteer work, or there's so many different ways, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter what your goal is, there's 100 ways you can get there. So I want you to pick your goal, and I want you to think of something that you can do consistently for at least 7 years. Okay, what is something that you can do? Maybe not every day, maybe 5 days a week. Absolutely, 7 days a week is unrealistic, but what's something that you can do 5 days a week consistently for 7 years that you're willing to do, even if you don't see instant results? If it comes to your sleep, is that moving 5 days a week, like exercise? Is that getting outside to get some sunlight on your face? Is that consistently going to bed and getting up at the same time? There's so many things that you can do to help improve your sleep that are really just small, subtle changes that if you commit to them over 7 years, you're going to see results. Is it that you want to be consistent with your meal planning? Because meal planning keeps the grocery or the fridge stocked, and the food that you're eating being the best that's gonna make you feel the best. Is that what you want to do consistently? Whatever it is for you, I want you to challenge yourself to pick that one thing that you can do every day for 7 years, 5 days a week maybe. The second challenge that I have for you is I want you to be aware of how you feel when you don't see results instantly. So if sleep is something that you want to work on and you think, okay, I'm going to move every day or 5 days a week, and after day 2, you're not sleeping better, that doesn't mean it's not working. The best solutions to almost any problem are the ones that are actually not instant. They're the ones that take some time, take some effort, and that you can hold up for a very long time. So you might not see results instantly if you start exercising, and you might not see sleep results instantly when you start exercising, but give it a month, give it 2 months, give it 6 months. I would actually argue that if you're making any changes that have to do with your health, 6 weeks is the minimum you should expect before you're going to see any change. So I jokingly say, what can you keep up for 7 years? But at the very, very minimum, you have to do it for 6 weeks to be able to see something consistently. So back to challenge number 2. I want you to challenge your beliefs when that doesn't work for you instantly. If you feel frustrated, annoyed, if you feel like it's not working, if you feel like you're doing it wrong, none of that is wrong. Those are all legitimate, but I want you to challenge them. I want you to say, okay, why am I feeling impatient right now? Why am I feeling frustrated? Why am I feeling annoyed? What is missing here? I want you to get comfortable with the discomfort of not seeing instant results. Now, if sleep is a challenge for you, you're in the right place. I have a wonderful workshop that I'm going to link in the video description that will help you kind of understand why people, women in particular, have a hard time sleeping, where to start, and give you some ideas of some small, consistent behaviors that you can start right away that will help you see results. Give them at least 6 weeks, but head on over, check out that workshop. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I can't wait to hear from you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.